Welcome to Inside the Dugout, Sports Breakdown MLB Show. Today is an MLB recap. We're going to recap every game from Friday through Sunday of MLB. Give you my guy, give you hot hitters, cold hitters, an update on the Rays and the Cincinnati Reds, as well as some injury updates. But let's get started here with the recap of every game. So we start on Friday with the D-backs and the Cubs, the Diamondbacks and Cubs. And the Cubs started the scoring in the first with a 3-run first inning. And the Diamondbacks answered with a run in the third inning. And then the Cubs had another 3-run inning in the fourth. And then the Diamondbacks tried to make it close. They scored 4 in the sixth, ended up losing 6-5, as you see. Okay, how do you get rid of this advertisement? No. Give me a second, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to do this like this. I guess we just got to do this. So, Gallen got the loss. Ray took the win. Now we get to the Rangers and Tigers. And the Rangers opened the scoring at the top of the first with a run in the first inning. And then they got three more in the third. 3 in the third. The Tigers answered with a 3-run fourth and a run in the fifth. Then in the 8th inning, the Rangers took the lead 5-4, and that's how the game ended. Tyler Alexander got the win. Birch Smith took the loss. Jacob Latz got his third save of the season, which that back end of the bullpen for the Rangers is kind of a mess, if I had to say so myself, because you never know who's going to come out of that bullpen in the 9th inning. It could be Robert Garcia. It could be Jacob Latz. It could be somebody else. In fantasy, I would just completely stay away from the back end of the bullpen for the Rangers. The Reds lost to the Pirates 9-1. And the scoring kept. The Pirates started the scoring in the first with a single run. Got 2 in the third, 1 in the fourth, 4 in the fifth, 1 in the sixth. And the Reds managed to get 1 run back in the 6th inning in their half of the 6th. Mitch Keller got the win. Brady Singer took the loss. The Brewers beat the Nationals 6-1. And here is the scoring breakdown. The Brewers started the scoring in the first inning with a single run. Then the Brewers scored again a single run in the third, 2 in the fifth, 2 in the 8th. And the Nationals got their single run in the 7th inning. Jacob Mizorowski got the win, but he did leave early with an injury. But it doesn't sound, the early prognostication on it does not sound serious. Jake Irvin took the loss. The Yankees beat the Orioles 7-2. The Yankees started the scoring in the bottom of the first with a single run. The Orioles answered in the top of the second with a single run of their own, and then the Yankees went on to score 4 in the bottom of the second. And then the scoring stopped all the way to the 7th. The Yankees got a single run in their 7th inning. So did the Orioles. Then the Yankees got a run in the 8th. Will Warren got the win. Kate Povich took the loss. Trying to get rid of these. No, is there a way to get rid of these? Right there. So back to where were we? We run this. Okay, so the Astros. The Red Sox beat the Astros 3-1. All the scoring was done in the third inning. The Red Sox got 3 in their half of the third. The Astros got 1 in their half. Jake Benning ended up getting his first big league win. Chapman got his 6th save. Burrows took the loss. Rays and Giants. The Rays got 1 in the second, 1 in the fourth, 1 in the 6th. And Shane McClanahan, I think we can safely say he's back. 6 shutout innings for Shane. He's 3-2 on the year with a 3.10 ERA. That ERA is starting to come down. And everybody wanted to see, are we going to get pre-injury Shane McClanahan? I think it's safe to say that pre-injury Shane McClanahan is officially back. Brian Baker did pick up his 8th save of the year, and it looks like for the time being, until Edwin Uceta comes back, that Brian Baker is going to be the guy in the 9th inning for the Rays. Marlins and Phillies. Game finished 6-5. The scoring breakdown. The Marlins opened the scoring in the first inning with a single run. I'm sorry, y'all have to see all of this. And then the Phillies answered in the 4th with 2. Then the Phillies had a 6-run 7th inning. Then the Marlins answered with 3 in the 8th and 1 in the 9th to make it a 1-run game. Zach Wheeler got the win. Yuri Perez took the loss here. And Brad Keller got the save. Blue Jays and Twins. The Blue Jays opened the scoring in the second inning. The final score was 7-3. So the Blue Jays opened the scoring in the second inning with 2 runs. Twins answered with 2 in the bottom of the third. Top of the 4th, Blue Jays answered with 2 more. Then they added on 2 more runs in the 5th, 1 in the 7th. And then the Twins added 2 in their half of the third and 1 in the bottom of the 7th. The winning pitcher ended up being Patrick Corbin, which we might need to do a breakdown of Patrick Corbin because you remember the last few years he was stinking up the joint with the Rangers and the Nationals, and he ended up getting cut from the Nationals altogether. And then Simeon Woods Richardson took the loss. He's 0-5 on the year with a 6.49 ERA. That is atrocious. Then you got the Dodgers and Cardinals. The Cardinals ended up winning 7-2. They had a 3-run first. They gave up a run in the second, scored a run in the third, gave up a run in the 6th, scored 3 in the 7th to end up winning 7-2. Matt Liberatore got the win, and this might be we talked about it on the previous installments of MLB Recap. How I'm actually going to do something because I don't like these ads. ESPN. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. You have to see all of this in this video. I'm really sorry. Shouldn't have to see what I have to go through on a daily basis with my stinking computer because I don't have a antivirus protection on it. Friday, and we were down at the Dodgers and Cardinals. We were down to the Braves and Rockies. Check the box score here. So the Braves ended up winning 8-6. The Rockies scored 5 in the first, 1 in the second to go up 6-0 in this game. And I bet everybody turned it off. They're like, oh, this game's over. There's no way the Braves come back. The Braves scored 1 in the fourth. Then you skip ahead to the seventh. They score 4. They score 1 run in the seventh, 4 in the eighth, 2 in the ninth to come back and win this game. Didier Fuentes takes the win. Yan Mejia takes the loss. Robert Suarez gets the save. And I'll give you one guess who got the go-ahead hit for the Braves. It was Michael Harris, a pinch hit 2-run homer in the 8th and the 9th to give the Braves the lead and the win. This is why we love baseball, especially in Colorado. If you're going to tell me that you think baseball's overrated because of multiple factors, we need to have a serious conversation. Now we get to the Angels and Mets. The Mets won 4-3. Brazabon got the win. Furman got the loss, and Devin Williams picked up his 3rd save of the year. White Sox and Padres. White Sox won 8-2. The White Sox have been the most surprising team early in the season. The Guardians won 8-5 against the A's. The Royals beat the Mariners 7-6. Daniel Lynch got the win. Jose Ferrer got the loss. And Lucas Erceg, who I mentioned on the website and my waiver wire column, he picked up his 8th save of the year. And that website is sportsbreakdown.net. Yes, I know the YouTube channel is going through a change over to the Daily Sports Playbook, but the website is still going to be sportsbreakdown.net. And you can see everything over there. This episode of the podcast, and in advance, I am sorry for the first half of the Friday recap for MLB that you had to see all the advertisements and everything that I go through on a daily basis with my computer. But I promise you that's not going to happen again. Saturday, the Yankees beat the Orioles 9-4. We're going to speed run through Saturday and Sunday. The Tigers beat the Rangers 5-1. Blue Jays beat the Twins 11-4. The Cubs beat the Diamondbacks 2-0. The Reds lost 17-7 to the Pirates. The Brewers beat the Nationals 4-1. The Guardians beat the Athletics 14-6 football score. The Astros beat the Red Sox 6-3. The Marlins beat the Phillies 4-0. The Rays beat the Giants 5-1. And that's 4-3 in a row for the Rays. The Dodgers lose to the Cardinals 3-2. The Braves beat the Rockies 5-1. The White Sox beat the Padres 4-0. Angels beat the Mets 4-3. The Royals beat the Mariners 3-2. Now we go to Sunday. The Yankees beat the Orioles 11-3. The Tigers beat the Rangers 7-1. The Twins beat the Blue Jays 4-3. The Reds get swept 1-0 and a shutout, a 4-hitter by the Pirates. The Astros beat the Red Sox 3-1. The Brewers lose to the Nationals 3-2. The Phillies beat the Marlins 7-2. The Rays beat the Giants 2-1. The Dodgers beat the Cardinals to avoid the sweep. The Cubs sweep the Diamondbacks 8-4. The Braves beat the Rockies 11-6. The Guardians lose 7-1 to the Athletics. The Mets take 2 out of 3 in LA against the Angels. The White Sox, the Padres avoid the sweep, winning 4-3 against the White Sox. And Mason Miller, shocker, picks up his 11th save of the year. The Royals beat the Mariners 4-1. And Daniel Lynch this time gets the save. And that wraps up the recap part of the show. Now we get to everybody's favorite part of the show. And that is my guy. The guy I'm picking this week is Ian Seymour of the Rays. The last 7 games, listen to these stats. He's got a 1.17 ERA and a 1.13 whip. And everybody wanted to, all Rays fans included, I was not one of them, wanted to say, oh, Ian Seymour should not be on this team. He shouldn't have made the opening day roster. Where are those folks at now when Ian Seymour's got a 1 ERA in the last 7 games? Do I need to read those stats one more time for the people sitting in the back of the bus? A 1.17 ERA and a 1.13 whip in the last 7 games, which is last week, basically. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we get to the hot hitters category of the show. And the first hot hitter I'm going to cover is Giants outfielder Drew Gilbert. Last 7 games hit .350. And I've watched a lot of film on all these guys. Drew Gilbert has made some big strides since getting called up at the end of the middle of last year by the Giants. And the Giants just promoted 2 top prospects for their start of their series tonight against the Padres. And Jesus Rodriguez and Bryce Eldridge, who Bryce Eldridge was my number 1 prospect in my updated rankings. But back to Drew Gilbert. I've noticed that he's cut down on chasing outside the zone. His chase rate is down. He's a lot more patient at the plate. And that's led to this mini breakout. And if you need help in the outfield, I know this isn't waiver wire, but I'm giving you a couple guys that you could look at on the waiver wire if they are available in your league. Drew Gilbert's one. Second one is infielder Tyler Black from the Brewers. .429 average in the last 7 games. And it seems like him starting the year in AAA kind of helped him because now he's up with the big club and he's mashing 429 in the last 7 games, which is the last week of action. And he just like Drew Gilbert, he's cut down on chasing pitches outside the zone. He's patient. He's more patient at the plate. Doesn't chase. He's getting consistent ABs. And then my last hot hitter is Marlins second baseman Xavier Edwards, hitting 292 in the last 7 games. And he's hitting almost 300. And that's a really good average. Now, so I just told you about the guys that are hot. Here's the guys that are cold. The first one is Marlins outfielder. And yes, I'm talking about back-to-back Marlins. I know. It is outfielder Jacob Marcy of the Marlins. Last 7 games, he's hitting a cold 160. And I've looked at his film, and the reason I think he's hitting like this bad is because he's chasing too much. He's swinging at pitches outside the zone, which in baseball, we know when you chase, your batting average is going to go down. And he's also getting very unlucky. He'll have a hard hit ball, but it'll be right out of fielder or a line out to like left or right field or center. If he can cut down on chasing pitches, I think we can see Jacob Marcy turn this around really quick. Next is Tigers outfielder Kerry Carpenter. Last 7 games, a 182 batting average. Let me repeat that. 182 on the batting average. And Kerry Carpenter is supposed to be one of the big boys in that Tigers lineup. If he could, he's same thing that I said about Jacob Marcy applies to Kerry Carpenter. He chases too much. And if you're chasing pitches outside the zone, it's never going to work. And the last guy that I'm going to talk about is Cubs third baseman and outfielder Matt Shaw. Matt Shaw's played third base. He's played first base. He's played some outfield. He's hitting 200 over the last 7 games. And it's the same thing kind of applies to him too that applied to Marcy and Carpenter. He's chasing a lot, but with him, he's also not getting consistent ABs. He'll start 2 games in a row, then he'll be on the bench the next 2 games. Then he'll start 2 more. Then he's on the bench again. Then he'll start another 2. If Craig Counsell would just give him consistent ABs, I think we could see Matt Shaw break out of this slump he's in. Now we got our Rays update, and they swept the Giants, but on a more it was an impressive sweep, especially the game on Saturday when the Rays won 5-0. Shane McClanahan is back, ladies and gentlemen. 6 shutout innings, didn't walk anybody, and that's what the Rays wanted to see. They wanted to see him limit the walks, and he did. He did. I'm pretty sure he walked nobody and that start on Saturday. But on a somber note, the Rays did lose Yandy Diaz. Yandy Diaz did not play Sunday. And we'll see if he's in the lineup tonight. If he's not, you can expect either Jonathan Aranda or Ryan Vilade to get the start at first base, with the other one probably DHing. And Vilade has been a nice surprise for the Rays. When the Rays added him in the offseason, people were like, nobody's heard of him. Oh, he's a career minor leaguer. He may be a career minor leaguer, but look what he's done for the Rays in limited plate appearances. He's come up with some big hits. And now I know I have some Reds fans that watch the show. unfortunately, and I'm also a Cincinnati Reds fan too, unfortunately, the Reds did get swept by the Pirates this weekend, but they do play the Cubs starting tonight in a 3-game series, with Chase Petty getting the start tonight for the Reds. But on a more happy note for the Reds, they will be getting Nick Lodolo back this weekend. And that leads me into the second to last segment of the show, and that is the MLB injury update. We start with the Braves and catcher Sean Murphy. He had a hamstring injury that kept him out the first month and a half of the season. The plan is for him to return and rejoin the team in Seattle early this week. And that'll be a big boost for a Braves team that was the first team to 20 wins and has not lost a series yet this year, if you did not know that stat. The next injury update is Nick Lodolo of the Reds. He is really close. He's returning. He's going to be starting Friday for the Reds. And then we get to Carlos Rodon of the Yankees. It sounds like Carlos Rodon is really close to returning. And the final injury update is that Ryan Pepiot of the Rays is going to have hip surgery, and he's out for the rest of the season. That's a big blow to the Rays rotation. And as well, I will have the first episode of the Rays podcast on Thursday. I know I delayed it a whole week, but I'm trying to set some things up for that show that I think y'all will like. And now we're going to get to the final segment. We're going to look at some MLB top prospects. We're starting the Angels system with Nelson Arata, who is in AAA. And we're going to look at his stats over the last 10 games with the Salt Lake Bees. Last 10 games for Arata, 262 average, on-base percentage of 371, 340 slugging, and his OPS is 711, 27 games, 103 at-bats. A 21 runs scored, 27 hits, 3 doubles, 1 triple, 1 home run, 13 RBIs. The last 10 games. That's what we want. So, over the last 10 games, Nelson Arata is struggling. Let's just put it that way. He's hitting 200. His splits 200, 304, 225. That's not particularly good. We are going to go over a couple Angels prospects that and as you see, yes, the last 10 games for George Klassen, who was ranked in my preseason rankings for prospects. He dropped out because you see the stats. He's 0-3 with a 5.63 ERA. And that's in 24 and a third innings. The last 24 innings, 30 hits. 30 hits. He's given up 18 runs, 15 earned, 2 home runs. He has not hit a batter, walked 18, struck out 20. So we're going to look at a couple other prospects before we end the show. First one is a guy that just got called up today by the Marlins, and that is Mr. Joe Mack, who was in his last 10 games. So that is at his last, so 30, he's 10 for 33, 13 for 33, and he's hitting a smooth 303 with a on base. So he's hitting 303 with an on base percentage of 442 and a slugging of almost 400. That's not too shabby. And no home runs, I believe, is that. Mr. Mack. 1 home run, 4 RBIs in that span with 10 strikeouts. And with 4 walks and 10 strikeouts. So he's striking out more than he's walking. But the Marlins called him up today and optioned Agustin Ramirez to AAA. And Joe Mack is going to split time behind the plate with Liam Hicks. So be prepared to, and I think the next Marlins prospect we're going to look at is 2 guys that are both in AAA that are going to be up at some point this year. First one is Robbie Snelling. Last 10 games, he's 3-1 with a 1.86 ERA. He's shelving. He's doing really good in AAA. He's had 44 strikeouts and 15 walks. And the opponent's average against Robbie Snelling is 115. And he's got a whip of .90. Again, that is a 090 whip and a 116 batting average against. That is ridiculous. Those are some ridiculous stats for Robbie Snelling. Now let's see if Thomas White can outdo him. Thomas White, 0-2, 2.41 ERA. He has no complete games yet. He started 5. 18 and a third innings. 10 hits, 7 earned, 7 runs, 5 earned. 2 homers given up, 2 hit by pitches, 10 walks, 29 strikeouts. And listen to this. His opponent's opponents against him are only hitting 164. That is ridiculous. A 164 batting average against, and he's got a 107 whip. Marlins, why are both of these guys in AAA? Chris Paddock is over 30 years old. You're probably going to trade him, move him to the bullpen, or DFA him and give one of these 2 guys an opportunity. Come on, Peter Bendix. You know you want to call up Thomas White or Robbie Snelling or both of them. You know you want to. I don't know why you still have them at AAA. After, I hope one of y'all is watching this. You heard me talk about their stats. And I think we're going to do 2 more teams. First one, of course, I have to do my Rays. We have to talk about a guy that's in high A ball for the Rays. And that is Theo Gillen. So his last 10 games, he is batting .265 with a .405 on base percentage and slugging of .529. But I want you to listen. Well, let's actually 30 games. Anyway, Theo Gillen's having a really good season in high A ball for the Rays. And he was having issues hitting home runs last year. He is not having issues hitting home runs this year. I believe this year, on the season, he has between the River Dogs, he's with the Bowling Green. He's with Bowling Green. He's hit 11. He's hit 6 home runs this year for Bowling Green. Yes, I know I do last 10 games, but for the sake of Theo Gillen, I'm doing the season so far. 6 home runs, 17 RBIs. He's walking just as much as he's striking out. So 10 less walks to 10 more strikeouts. But he's also stolen 10 bases. And he stole 36 last year. So there's a great chance that Theo Gillen could be with the Rays at some point. Not this year. Probably next year at some point. Brody Hopkins. Let's get the last tip for Mr. Hopkins. 0-3 with a 4.5 ERA. 6 games started. No complete games. No shutouts. Of course, no saves. 27 and third innings. 21 hits. 15 runs. 15 earned. 3 home runs given up. 3 hit by pitches. 25 walks to 30 strikeouts. 221 opponents average. And a whip of 166, correction. The whip is a little high, but that opponent's average, anything under a 3 on the opponent's average is good. So, and I know he's struggling right now at AAA, but I think if you give him time to turn that around, he will. And the next prospect I'm going to look at is Jacob Melton, who got some run with the Astros last year, and then he was acquired by the Rays in that 3-team trade in the offseason. So he is 19 for 35, hitting 2, and this was before injury. He's injured currently right now. But 296 batting average, on base percentage of 357, and a slugging of 514. And he has no triples, 5 home runs, 5 RBIs, and he's stolen 10 bases. And the final team we are going to look at is the Milwaukee Brewers, and we are going to look at 2 guys in their system. First one is Jesus Madej. 13 for 40 in his last. He's hitting 225 right now. And then we're also going to look at Cooper Pratt, who's in AAA. Real quick. And Cooper Pratt is the last guy we're going to look at. 19 for 34. And he's hitting 324, 442 average, 442 on base, and a slugging of 559. So he's working his way getting called up by the Brewers. He is on the 40-man roster, and he's one of the prospects that signed a lucrative extension before any MLB service time. But, ladies and gentlemen, that'll wrap up today's episode of the MLB Recap. Again, this show is up on the sportsbreakdown.net website. If you want to watch it in full, and if you want to see the waiver wire for week 6, and if you want to see my updated prospect rankings. But have a wonderful rest of your Monday. I will see everybody on Thursday.